take Joey
But
tomorrow. I can
I've
take
been
him,
doing like the
sit there for two
lighter
hours.
colors
Like,
all
I'm not gonna
summer,
sit
but
there.
that's really
everyone. A call to order the Cultural and Arts Advisory Board monthly meeting for October 20th. For our first action tonight is to approve the meeting minutes from the September 15th, 2025 meeting. So if there's no questions on that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 15th of September.
Do I have a second? There's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes pass. All right, town liaison report, over to Taylor.
All right, so I submitted the White Oak Creek Greenway mural for consideration for the North Carolina Recreation and Parks Administration Arts and Humanities Award. And so I submitted that today, due date's tomorrow. So we should know within a month the process of who's won that and who are the other people who applied. So that's that one. Council approved the purchase of Prismatic Cyclone at last Tuesday's council meeting. So it was a great opportunity there too. So what that means is that piece will remain at Hunter Street until the conclusion of the sculpture walk. So in March to April, it will be moved to its permanent home at Pleasant Park. The sculpture Inky, which is over by PD, was finally repaired today. So you'll see there's some caution tape and some cones as it sets finally. But Phil, the artist, was really great to work with. Those pieces are extremely heavy. So we had a big team helping him out. So you'll see some caution tape over there, for at least for the next probably week or so while that sets. I was told that the material that they use takes a little bit longer since it's a little cooler out lately, so that should be no problem. And then let's see here, I think that's all.
That's great, thank you. And thank you for presenting Prismatic Cyclone. You did a terrific job as always. And thank you to the town council for unanimously approving that. That's great. All right, the other so chairperson's report. I have one item that I wanted to add to that list, and so the sculpture walk for next time around. We do have our call for artists. It's been out for almost 2 months, so that'll close in mid-November. And then what I'm going to do is I'll put a meeting on the kind of on the calendar for us to connect like we do annually. And for the new folks, what we do is I'll send out a package in advance of all of the submissions that we get. I will ask for your feedback and like a ranking, usually ask for your top 3 or top 4 or something like that, but I'll let you know in the email. And then we'll get together and we'll work through that and make our selections for next year's show, okay? And we typically can take care of that on an online type meeting, okay? So that, look out for that, probably it'll be in December and early December, so we can get it done before the holidays. That is all I had for chairperson's report. So we can probably go right by public comment, I would say. And we'll go into old business. So the first one, top of the list today, the art guide. So I'll turn it over to Susan.
Okay.
Exciting news on this one.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're almost done. And we had a meeting with Kendall Hart, who's the Town of Apex digital media specialist. And she has done such a great job with this art guide. It's really colorful and it just, everything really pops. So it's about 45 pages. 20 artists are featured, along with the bus stop art. Sort of has its own collage page too. Taylor is looking into costs for printing for the first run in terms of numbers to see what kind of rate we could get based on how many we print up, I guess, at the first go. But it's coming soon. We hope by the holidays, we think. We hope to display them in the usual places: Hallie, the Depot, Senior Center, and then businesses in downtown Apex as well. But it's great. It's really, really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a very exciting project.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think everybody would be very pleased with it. We'll also, of course, give a handful to everyone here, distribute to your friends and stuff like that as well. Yeah, and then we'll see how the take up is, but I think it'll be a pretty popular item. Yeah. Thanks, Susan. Anyone have any questions on that one?
Have we talked to businesses already who are going to keep them in their stores?
I don't think so. Well, this person.
one?
Yeah.
And actually, I was thinking if you wanted to put them at the, I can probably make a little somewhere to, like a real estate kind of thing. To put
Okay.
them in the free little art gallery because that's
Okay,
there all the
great.
time and it's covered, so I think it
Awesome.
wouldn't get wet. So
And do you think, could you spread the word on the,
yeah,
on the
I
street?
can
as it
message.
were?
And there's probably like Cocoon Gallery. There's probably
Uh-huh.
a couple like art specific galleries
Yes.
and Studio Apex.
Okay.
So there's a couple that I can think of off the top of my
Okay,
head.
that's
But
great.
I can post on their page.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I was just wondering if we were getting people who aren't just like art galleries, things like that, just to make sure that everyone's being able to see it. As many
Yes,
people as possible
yeah.
can see it. So,
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, downtown window painting. So to Bethany.
Yeah. All the high schools who I messaged initially accepted. So Thales, Apex High School, and Apex Friendship High School. And then one of the high schools, I think it was Apex, recommended that we invite Felton Grove, which hadn't occurred to me because I keep forgetting that they're in Apex and they're brand new. So she gave me the contact for, I think his name is Mr. Watson. And I reached out and messaged him and invited them to join. They're over. Sean's looking at me like he's not sure where it is. We're inviting them, and they were excited. They're only 9th and 10th grades, and they're kind of over towards like Sunset Lake Road, Stevenson Road, so definitely Apex. But I figured we can just divide up the fire station into 3, and then so I think so we kind of talked I kind of gave them since they're the new people, I gave them some, and they have I think 10 people, so I think it's perfect, and they were very excited and looking for more opportunities. So I think some enthusiasm there. And it is December 1st from 3 to 6, and the rain date is the next day, which is the 2nd. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no problems. And Taylor, I owe you a list of supplies, and I'll get that to you so we can have plenty of time to get. I know I need at least a couple things.
Yeah. And that's the Monday after Thanksgiving. It's a great event, so whoever
And if
can
anybody
come
wants
out,
to come and help,
just come on out, even
Yeah.
if you just swing by for a half an hour, whatever, just to even see it going on. But if you want to come out and help and do a little painting, you're welcome to do so as well. So,
I can put some posters up in my school.
yeah. So
Well,
mostly it's
yeah.
the students. So that's the art teachers that actually bring, like, I think for Apex, it's the Art Honor Society that they do it with. So it's more of like,
it's very specific
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
because otherwise, it would be difficult to manage.
Yeah.
So thank you for the offer, but we'll keep it to the direct folks.
because the
that-
teachers like work specifically with them, and they have a little bit of a plan, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
I went over with the new teacher,
Yeah.
is just to let him know kind of what it kind of looked like and what to prepare for. So, but I'm excited for another school.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Bethany, remind me what kind of paint you used.
Tempera. Just
Oh,
tempera
tempera.
paint.
Okay.
And I still have a lot, but there's a couple colors that I need and some just more supplies and snacks. So I need to feed them some cookies and
it's
hot cocoa.
All right. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Next up, public art master plan. So Taylor.
Sure. So the request for qualifications, which is an RFQ, was submitted online on Wednesday the 15th at 8 a.m. So this is open to the public to review. You can review this RFQ on the town's website. If you just search bid and proposal postings, you'll see it's the last one currently on the page as of earlier today. This will remain open until November 6th at 2 p.m. That people are welcome to email me any questions, and an addendum onto the RFQ will be added on next Monday with all of the answers to those questions, and then questions will close. The proposal will be reviewed after the closure on November 6th and narrowed down first by town staff for feasibility, and then will come to this board for full review. And that's where we're at right now.
All right. That's great. So so November 6th, and then internal review. when it comes to this group, do we have a discussion, that kind of thing about it, or how do you want to manage that, or we're not quite sure yet?
I'm not quite sure how that will be managed on the board side of things.
Okay.
This is the first RFQ that we've done of this scale,
Yeah,
so I want to make sure that we're doing it
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
So right now, this is what I know, that it will end up coming to this board, but I don't know exactly if it's do we choose this company over this company, or these were the options, this is what the town chose.
Yeah.
So that I gotta get a little bit more information before
Okay.
the application's closed.
All right, sounds great. Thank you. All right, any other questions on that from anyone? All right, next item up, Music Fest. This is me on this one. So I've contacted a few small towns, small cities that have similar fests, at least of what I'm thinking of. So smaller scale to start with, not some mega concert festival to start with. Again, with local bands, that type of thing. And I've gotten some really good feedback, and they've been very kind of generous with the information that I need to kind of dig into a little bit more. I know, Sean, you mentioned being willing to help out on this one. So what I'll do is maybe we'll find a time offline between this meeting and next to just kind of brainstorm about it a little bit more. So we can come back to this committee with some more concrete information. But generally, the idea would be targeting for next fall to do something. Just to give us some time, since this is our first time to ever do such a thing, to get our feet under us and figure out exactly what scale and what we want to do. And then also, if there's financial involvement, which probably will be something, is to put that into the budget for next year as well. So there's a little time plus a little planning to make it happen, so we can make it be a successful event. Okay. So that's really all I have at the moment. Sorry, I don't have a lot more detail than that. But happy to field any questions if somebody does have a question or comment right now.
I've been asking around. People have just like ideas of like what's people like musicians, like what's a normal like price range, and what do you guys do? What does this look like? So I'm getting an idea from people who are doing it as well.
Okay, great.
I've just people I'm friends with and know whoever,
Okay.
and just seeing what their experience is and recommendations, people to reach out to, and kind of who set it up and things like that too. So I'm getting some information from them from there as well.
That'll be really helpful. Thank you. Yeah. Good.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
in downtown Kerry Park, they have a amphitheater where like they constantly,
That's right.
there are some artists who perform there. It's kind of a permanent stage which is set with
That's right.
lights and speakers and everything. But I don't think we have anything similar. But just I was bringing that in the context of the artists. They are mostly local artists who perform there. So probably we can check with them.
Yeah. What we've done similarly here, really through Hallie and Taylor's team, there's the concerts at the Apex Nature Park. It's not as big a stage,
Yeah.
but it is a permanent amphitheater type setup.
Yeah.
Where they've done some similar shows as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just bringing up that
Yeah,
if you can
no, that's
get
good
those
input.
artists,
Yeah, yeah. No,
those
that's good.
artists should be a good point of
Yeah,
contact to start
that would
with.
be another point of contact. Thank you for that.
And-
Lafayette, you had a comment too?
Oh, yeah, it was really just kind of on that same line, which was the location, and also really more specifically, were you basing it on any other local festivals that we might know of, or just, do you have a framework for it? Or
So Carborough Music Fest is one. Carborough, they do one every September. It's a really, really very well run and interesting show with all kinds of different music. So that's terrific. That runs on a Sunday for like 6 or 7 hours every, and they have like 100 bands out there. So it's
Wow.
pretty large, but it's very fun and free and open to the public. It's in businesses. It's street corners. It's up and down the kind of main area of town. I've also reached out to, of all places, Ithaca, New York. So Ithaca is an interesting town. They do a front porch music series, and when I spoke to them, they were tremendous with the information that they shared with me, and they have a couple of hundred of these, not them, but a couple of hundred communities around the country that do these front porch series, they call it. which sounds like a really great idea. Also, something again that gets the community involved. It's free and open to everyone. It's you could see people walking up and down Salem Street just listening to music. So it sounds like also a very good idea. So I've been reaching out to different communities. I think it's that kind of scale we're talking about rather than setting up some big giant stage with some big huge performance coming in.
The front porch concept is definitely popular and is, I don't want to say catchy, but people will pick up on it pretty quickly because it is, I guess, in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And the scale probably fits what you're looking
Yeah.
to do. So I definitely thumbs up.
Yeah, okay, great. Thanks. But if people have other ideas or know of other communities that do things, just let one of us know, Sean or myself, and that'll help us, gather more information and insights about what we might want to do here. Okay?
In terms of venue, I have a suggestion. Pleasant Park is much bigger, and in terms of traffic movement, a better place than the Apex Nature Park. So I don't know if that's a possible option or not. But
Different
yes.
concept, but that's definitely a nice big venue to do larger events and shows for sure.
Yeah, because even if like there are 200 cars, Nature Park is something which will be difficult for 200 cars at one moment, rather than in Pleasant Park it's like breeze for 200 cars.
That's true.
Is
Okay.
Pleasant Park fully built out, or is there another phase coming?
There is another phase on Pleasant Park. Yeah, but all the roads and all that access is in. Yeah.
Are they going to include an amphitheater as well, or
No, it's not part of the plan.
Okay. Tom, would you do sort of like a call for artists, in a similar
Yes.
way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
That would be the idea right now.
Yeah.
Who knows how it'll really come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be the plan.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you for your interest in that. And more to come, a lot more to come, I'm sure. All right, next up, music moments. So, Ranjit, yeah.
So I reached out to a couple of music teachers in the town, and then I have a committed group who are even ready to perform monthly ones, and they can do it as early as first week of November. And then I just need to coordinate that with Taylor to iron out a schedule. The artist is ready. Once we give them a schedule and a place, they can do monthly ones.
Well, that's great.
To start with, and
Yeah.
then based on the interest, they can increase as well. And these are like school kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Town of Apex.
Okay, yeah.
School kids.
That's fantastic. Any thoughts on location or they're
we
open?
first
Yeah.
thought that we would do it the senior
That's
center
right.
first,
Yeah, yeah.
and then we'll scale
Yeah.
it based on the feedback from that location.
That's excellent. Okay, good stuff.
So Taylor, I need your help on coordinating that one. If you can iron out a schedule with the senior center, then I can coordinate with the artist.
Okay. Are we thinking, so you said monthly, so once a month?
Yeah, you can give the frequency for start with once a month.
And are we
And
thinking
then-
like an hour on one day, a couple hours?
Let's do 1 hour
1
on
hour.
a evening, because all these are school kids. Or on a weekend, that's also fine, based on when you would have the more audience. I am not sure about the timing, how it will work in senior center, which is the popular time versus which is low volume. But yeah, if you can suggest some timing, and these are school going kids, so we also won't be impacting the school hours.
Sure. Okay.
Maybe it's even an after-school situation, so it's not nighttime, but it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, if that works for them.
Especially with seniors.
Yeah, with the
Yes.
senior, that might work as well for both. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A little bit of overlap.
These are high school kids, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work together on that. No problem.
Would that be only for the Apex school students,
No.
or just residents of Apex?
So the place is the senior center.
No, I
And
mean
the artist?
The students. Like if there are students in private schools,
Yeah, they're students in private school,
could they participate?
and they volunteered. Like 3 of them volunteered from that school to do it like a place that we choose.
where would we advertise that or promote it mostly?
It's just like, I reached out to some of the music schools.
I think the question is where would we promote this event? So I think at the senior center, we'll promote it there, but there's other ways, like we could post things on the, probably on the webpage or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I never thought about the promotion part.
yeah,
But if you can promote and then there are bigger audience, that would be helpful as well.
The senior center has a weekly newsletter. I know because I receive it, and I think it would be good to do it after afternoon, before it gets dark, because we don't like to drive when it's dark.
yeah.
But yeah, if you can coordinate with Megan at the senior center, and that's a good way to. They do a weekly blast on Mondays with a newsletter.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll speak with the manager over there to get a firm buy-in. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that they're comfortable with this, because I think when we talked about it last, it was going to be by where the upright piano is, which is in the lobby in the front. And there's like a pretty good area of like seating and whatnot, so that might project into the building really well. So I'll see how comfortable they are with that on specific days, and we'll go from there.
Nice.
And they would need the piano.
And the piano's available to
That's
be
great.
used.
Thank you so much for digging into that and getting it going. That's great. Very good. Any other questions, comments on that one?
I have just one question. I know this is kind of beginning to test the waters, but have you thought of anything like down the road, like maybe having like a piano set up somewhere in downtown Apex for a week, where people can just kind of come by and play, or any what the next steps might be if this is successful?
The idea was like, it should, for the watching people, it should just feel like an impromptu stuff somewhere. But yeah, it's not impromptu, it's just coordinated by the town of Apex, right? And then, the idea was also to have it in a different places. It's just not only the senior center. But as Taylor and Tom suggested, that the easiest thing to crack is like, just do it at the senior center, just that there's a piano right now available. And then we do not have to do like if you just do it in a school, it requires Wake County permissions and everything. So that's why this is something easier to start with, and then once we see how is the feedback, we would scale it differently. It may not be right away, December in let's say Apex downtown. It is not going to be that. But if you just do it November, December, January in the senior center, and then see that how we can take it elsewhere, and there are plenty of possibilities here, where else we can take it. But yeah, we need to just start it to see that what's the feedback.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, on to the next one here. It's a poetry in plain sight. So Bethany, next, who are you?
So one of the things we talked about, Poetry in Plain Sight, involved the North Carolina Poetry Society, how they do the poems in the windows, and they brought their poem this month, and I mentioned it to him that we're looking to do some kind of poetry. And then we kind of bounced off some ideas, and then since then I've done a little bit of research more about what other communities and other places do as far as just poetry in their community. I'm not a poet, so I had to kind of do a deep dive, and there's kind of everything in terms of in range of sidewalk poems where it's in the concrete and it's a huge project in St. Paul, Minnesota, and then it goes on from there, just a community poem where people submit a line of poetry and then poets put them together and make it into a poem of the year. So there's a lot of, I'm still kind of collecting that information, but there's a really wide range. And obviously I think doing something smaller to start with, whether it's just have it some communities do poetry readings or have a little poetry festival, or Carbo has a pretty renowned poetry festival that's a whole weekend. So, and they also have a poet laureate. So there's everything from, my next phase is to talk to somebody local who's in that, and I'm going to reach back out to the gentleman who brings me the poems for our window every month, and just ask is there a group of people who live in Apex who maybe would want to give some input on what they see and what whether it's just having readings somewhere, or whether it's just having a poem on the sidewalk and just do a grassroots impermanent project. So kind of kind of sorting through all these ideas, whether it's something we want to really invest a lot of resources into, whether we just start with something small like the Music Moments, I think is great, inexpensive, and just to see what the interest is, I think is kind of where I'm starting. So if anybody has any input about anything, but just not knowing what the community in general is really interested in, I think that's what I wanted to see from some people who are local in the poetry community here. So if anybody has any input.
I want to suggest one thing that can we just start with the library with a whiteboard or a glass board where like somebody can write a poem, and if you start from a library, that's where like almost I'm sure that those who are into poetry, they generally frequent the library and access the library, and then some of the kids also can write something and then put it there.
I was also thinking about those magnetic poetry, where like a Peak Fest or like at a festival, or it could be kind of like a Jenga game. It's almost like a game where people can like create a poem, and collaborate and kind of make something like that. And we could have very specific Apex things too, because like Carborough, one of their poetry projects, you submit a line about their town or the state, so then they can kind of craft a whole poem about their town. So I thought maybe that would be really cool for like Peak Fest or some kind of like Apex centric event, just as an activity to do that would maybe be pretty inexpensive, and we could just make like little do like a collage kind of poem of words and people can kind of put together. So I like that idea about just the whiteboard, because then that could get their muscles, their poetry muscles moving.
The library might already have a whiteboard.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
I was gonna recommend the magnetic poetry as well. I think it's just to start it, just to see how people will react to it, like kind of like the whiteboard too. Just having it out there, just see what people do with it.
Yeah.
Just get them thinking about it versus, well, not versus anything, but just having it in general. I think I'm on board with that.
These are great ideas. Yeah, good stuff.
And maybe even like just as we're activating the students, and talking about that, I was like, maybe if there's creative writing in the high schools, if they wanted to give their students a project to run, or youth council or something like that. So I hadn't really thought about the students at the schools, but there certainly are, I'm sure, some poetry classes in high school.
Good ideas. If you have other ideas that come to you, I will invite you to share them with Bethany. So that's great.
Yeah,
great to hear from other schools. Even when
you start
one
talking
person sparks an idea, it kind of creates an idea for others. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the last one up on old business is art and plein air.
Yeah, so similarly, I kind of did some deep dive onto plein air, and kind of there's a community, Fuquay Arena has one in the spring. It's a whole weekend. It's a 2-day event, plein air art festival, and in their downtown business association is who runs it. Similarly, Orange County has a county-wide arts plein air festival in the fall, and that both of those seemed really involved, I guess is what I would like to say. And one website I found had a whole say you want to run a plein air festival, here's what you need, and it was like 12 volunteers, and it was very elaborate. So kind of in working through that, and I saw that Durham does it's just a single day, 4 hours, where they invite artists to come and paint, and they have the art for sale afterwards. My thought was maybe invite local artists in the community to kind of organize their artists and maybe just start something smaller. I just don't know. Some people do it, I think, just once a year, but I was thinking more of like Raji, like monthly kind of event where people, if we had it and we could bounce to different locations, like do downtown Apex, do the nature park, do the Hunter Street Park, just bounce different locations, do it by town hall. I also was thinking about maybe in the sculpture walk, beginning of the sculpture walk, like when we have that first weekend, maybe enhancing that weekend and making it more of an event, just because if we're having people here, and I think that might just bring us a little more publicity towards the sculpture walk. So maybe just play off of the people who are coming to the sculpture walk and just, marketing wise, collaborating the two of those. So kind of what I was thinking about. There's a couple people who I want to reach out to, who I think would be good at planning and organizing it, and then we could just connect, maybe provide water, just like we could be the host
Yeah.
of it, and then let them kind of bring the people, and then us advertise it, and then folks could come and see the artist painting, and then they have an audience hopefully to sell their paintings. I just don't know, Taylor, like how we, if they're for sale and it's a town event. I just don't know. You might have to talk through like some of the rules about how that would work, whether they just sell it after the event or like, I don't know how, but the Durham website said that they were for sale at the event.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how that would work out. So there might be some rules as far as that goes. But I'd like to continue to reach out to a couple artists that I know and see if they might have a group of people who would be interested in painting, and how often they would think that they could get it to happen. So I'd like to follow up on that.
Yeah, it's great. Looks like Lafayette, you have a question?
There's a little outdoor area over there in Sweetwater.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who have been
Yep.
over there, quite nice.
Mhm.
We have access to that, or do we have to get on a schedule for future reference? Just putting it out there.
I'm not sure how they.
There's
How
a
it will
stage
work.
out there.
What's that?
There's a stage there.
Yeah. You saw it. Yeah. It's nice open space, and I don't know what they're doing behind it, in terms of open space, because they're still developing something behind that stage area there. But just food for thought.
Mhm.
You know.
Any other comments or questions on that one?
So one thing is, I know my son goes to Olive Chapel School, and they did a art showcase, and then the PTA organized that one, and I believe they allowed other parents to buy some of those paintings. So maybe it will be good to involve those schools as if they want to send their, because almost all the schools have a art club. They want to nominate or send some of their kids. That will be good.
Yeah, I would love to involve the students. And, like Susan was saying, she saw a mother and a son out
Yeah.
painting, and that to me is awesome.
Just spontaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out there.
that's good.
Yeah.
There's some urban sketching groups too that I kind of thought that way we could run it that way, but I kind of think the plein air idea of a painter versus like a sketching group, although that is an idea too, of just like an urban sketching group just to sketch around. That to me was a little bit less like structured because
Yeah.
you don't have to have as many supplies. But that was another thought I had too.
So typically with plein air, Bethany, is it they're painting what they're seeing?
Yeah. So you
So-
would want to have it in an area where there's like, a historic house
Right.
or, flowers, something
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
So today it was a mother and a son painting the depot and the caboose.
Yeah.
Out there.
Mhm.
So, but it could be at Lake Pine.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah,
be
it could be at the lake. Yeah. Anywhere
be
where
anywhere.
obviously there's something
Landscape.
like, and also it'd be great if it was like kind of areas like we would want to bring more people to. So it's like maybe
Yeah.
the parks, places that we would want people to,
Right.
patronize, or just tourism wise. Like if it's
Right.
going to bring people from other places, you want it to be a place where we have the parking or other things, you wouldn't want to be
Available.
pulling over the side of the road and painting a barn. Like you would want to have, think about like logistics as far as inviting
Yeah.
people to come and the people who are going to want to see them doing it. So you kind of have to think about both of those things.
Would you prefer like more foot traffic or people to like drive to a location?
I think so. What I've seen from other places, like I think Fuquay Arena, they have like a map, like a Google map with locations and they do it like a pretty wide area because they do it over 2 days. And so I think they let the artists pick, or they assign places. But to me, this is much smaller, and you maybe have like 10 artists, so it's not like it's not a huge competition. So Fuquay Arena has like prizes, and it's a big. They bring people from across the country or across the region to that event. So I'm thinking a little bit smaller. Just if we're going to have it more regular and not one huge event, not such a big plan, I was thinking smaller.
Okay.
So just in
Yeah,
if we
sure.
decided we wanted to go bigger,
Well,
but just based on
start
like
somewhere and
resources
Very
and,
good.
and
Yeah.
staffing and what we
Sure.
would be pulling from the town, I think that's where I was kind of
Yeah.
starting from.
okay.
Random thought, like you mentioned, like the sketching class. What if we did like the wine and design kind of things? Like if we did do something like that, where we have somebody like just being like, "Here's how to paint like a tree," since we can have beverages outside in the town, we could do something like that outdoors. People can sit and look at something and then
That's true.
imbibe.
That's true. Interesting.
not really to like take away from what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just maybe
Yeah.
just something similar in the same vein or something like that.
Yeah, it could be open more to like just like a hangout kind of thing.
Well, I think if you're talking about this art and plein air stuff, if we did like something big to kick off the sculpture walk, I think we did like an arts. I don't want to say art exposure because it's like
Yeah.
it's a thing, but but some kind of art festival to start it off. We could have a bunch of different things. You could have sketching.
You could have both, yeah.
Right, literally all the different things, just to kind of get a bunch of ideas flushed out, and then we have the sculpture walk. That stays.
Yeah, I like that.
And that could bring people to different places. So
Right.
that would kind of give you an idea of like where I could draw, because
Yeah.
I'm going through the sculpture walk and seeing a wide variety of places from the Hunter Street to.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
That's a good idea.
All right, good stuff. Okay. Anything else on that before we move to new business?
Do we have places that we recommend people like to paint? Like, do you know would like Jane have a bit like, oh, here's a bunch of great
Yeah, I'm
great
sure
spots you
I
can go
could
to?
probably come up with some places that I've seen painted,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, and that are safe. Like obviously
Right.
not on the railroad tracks, but like safe. But yeah, I can make a list of some places like on a Google map and pin
Yeah.
them, because then we could give people like a guide, like ideas, and like a little guide.
We could like
So-
do it in like an art guide
Yeah.
that we'll have out downtown to give people for free.
Yeah.
We could have something
Yeah.
like that to put in there as well to say, hey, like here's places you can make your own art or something. I don't know.
Would it be possible to also advertise maybe setting up a show at the Halley at the end of the year of doing these, collecting pieces if people want to either donate them or have them listed for
for
sale?
sale.
At the Halley?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea of like I thought maybe if we did a bigger event, the Halley was a natural, but it's a good idea at the end of a year or to have a show of all the pieces.
When I think of art for sale, the only place I think of is the Halley, because there's always so many wonderful pieces in there. But if there are other places, we should definitely make it available.
If anybody has any more ideas, hit me up.
Very good. Thanks, Bethany.
Mhm.
All right, on to new business. So nothing listed there, but I'll open it to the floor if anyone has something they want to bring up today. Yep, go ahead.
You guys know I was so chatty, right? I'm way chatty. Is it too early? Are we gonna have a presence or a footprint at all in the Christmas parade? I think you told me last year no. And I remember that conversation. Is that something we just don't do, or did we miss a deadline?
We've not ever done
We
it.
just never done it,
Yeah,
right?
we've
Okay,
not.
so then it's not new business then. I was just wondering because there's just so many people represented, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like I love it, right? I leave the parade a lot smarter than I came. But I'm like, I wonder if we did something just for awareness, whatever.
Cab, float.
A float, a pickup truck. I don't know. Sean, we could get on the back of your. But it was just a thought, random thought. But I remember our conversation, Tom. So yeah.
Yeah, we just haven't done it in the past, and
Okay.
as far as timelines and deadlines and things.
I mean, we got new name, all this stuff now. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just
right.
an opportunity to put it out there, Taylor.
Yeah,
Just on general principle, nothing.
but is that something you want to lead? You want to put that together and run that? And timing wise, it might not work this year anyway.
Right. One of the reasons why I was asking is because I'm like, man, it's like Halloween next week, right?
Those actually fill up every year.
Yeah.
And it fills up pretty quickly. I remember
So-
schools and dance clubs and ballet classes and all that. But
So maybe it's
maybe this is a
future-
26th
maybe
thing.
it's
I'm
a
not sure.
A future thought.
But to be honest with you, if it were to get some traction, I would attach my name to it for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. Okay.
I can look into seeing if the applications are even open still. I know that at this point they already have the map done, and typically when the map's in place, they have their floats in place.
Mhm.
But I can look into seeing if it's still open. I know that's not run by the town. That is
Right, that's
run
the,
by
The
Rotary.
Rotary Club.
Rotary,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
Just looked it up and it looks like they're sold out, but there's a wait list still
See?
open until
popular.
31st.
Okay.
Pretty pop. What's the deadline?
October 31st to join the wait list.
Oh, okay.
And there's fees associated with it, but maybe at least now starting to plan for next year at
Next
least,
year.
so it can be part of the budget.
Sure. Good point. Thank you for looking that up, real time.
Thank you.
All right. Any others?
Not super related, but the Peak Plan Task Force Community Forum is this week, Wednesday and Thursday night. If you want to come, and part of it is kind of the future of Apex, so I'm on
Yeah,
the
that's
task
a
force.
Good advertisement.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just show up, and I want the Wednesday is at the Hope Community Church, and Thursday is here upstairs.
All right, good.
I got a really small one I thought of last time, and I was like, we ran so long, I was like, let's not do this. Kind of along the lines of things like the guidebook or the art guide, the stuff that Bethany was talking about with the sketching class, stuff like that. Like I was thinking if we had like an Apex, or like a cultural arts advisory board, like sketchbooks or just mini sketchbooks or something like that, we could give out, sell, whatever, but have them. Like thinking if you go to any of the events we have where they're giving out stickers for power lines and like construction hats and like police badges and fire trucks, things like that. Like, is there anything like for us that can be like, here's a little thing that we have that we can give out? And obviously, art guide is good. And I think it's informational. I think that there's something that's like a utility, something that somebody can have and use and like just and think about, kind of associate with us.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good thing to have as well. I mean, the sticker's great, but really, if it's, if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else you would really use. I mean, like
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I would suggest something small like a sticker with a map of some of the attractions, and not all the points of attraction to be on one sticker, but like let's say we are in the downtown Apex area, we are doing an event there, maybe a sticker of a map of downtown Apex where like we saw like 5 or 6 point of interest.
we had talked about something like that before, like the die cut stickers of like certain sculptures or certain things like that, where we're able to kind of showcase the stuff around, even if it's not just a sculpture, if it's zoomed out a little bit, looking at kind of like part of a map with like maybe some like blow ups of things. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to do a sticker that's that size, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we went with that, but I kind of like the idea of it too. But
Whenever you're talking about sketchbook, it made me think about, are there any sketching classes that the town offers? I know there's a lot of painting, but maybe in partnership with the town class, or even, I don't even know if this is possible, but like sponsoring a sketching class, and then something like that could be given out as part of it, and asking people to go around town and fill it up, or I don't know.
I know the Hallie offers sketching classes, so I think you could probably talk to them about hosting one.
Yes, we do offer many. We do offer many. They're mostly for youth, so under 14 years old, but that's still a part of our community that we want to talk with. But yeah, our art teacher, she offers many different medium classes. Yeah.
The senior center does too.
Yep.
Painting, drawing, sketching. But I like the idea of this, maybe a little sketchbook with our logo on it, maybe with a little pencil
on our stickers.
and then,
on-
right?
yeah.
And then it could be like swag, just like a lot of when we have town events, if we set up a tent or whatever, you could hand it out and, good advertising, I think.
well, the other part of this too could be to Lafayette's point before about the new name.
Right.
Right.
Does anybody know the new name? Does anybody know the Apex Public Art Committee before the new name? Like, I mean, obviously they know it, but like a marketing branding mission too, of going different places and handing out our little sketchbooks and saying like, here's a sketching class we're going to do for this today or something like that. There's ideas.
Do we have a die cut logo of the new name, or is that a
I
thing?
mean, it's of the new name now. We have the
The only logo we have is
Bread's
the one
Water.
that's on.
Yeah.
On the
Right here.
agenda.
Well,
We don't have a logo with our name in it, even before. the
we
name
won't,
change.
and we won't have one. I was just wondering if there's something we can give out free at some events. The reason why I'm asking that is because I mentioned Sweetwater a minute ago because they had their Peaktoberfest this past weekend, which is very, very similar to Peak Fest. It was pretty big. And it wasn't anything that we really couldn't incorporate or be a part of. And it was their very first one. So, but it was just this past Saturday. So, but they were giving away all kinds of stickers and and I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool. So I forgot to mention it earlier in my earlier comments, but just a thought.
Yeah, okay. That's good ideas. All right. Anything else?
So one suggestion is regarding the murals. Should we plan a mural where, like many other towns have, I was in Cancun, they have an I love Cancun sign where people go take a picture. Like that, can we plan something extravagant like that where like I love Apex is there somewhere?
It's not a bad idea. We talked about it last time with like the wings or whatever in Tennessee or something like that, right?
But yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. We do have a couple of murals we're going to do this year, so we can talk about those themes at a future meeting. Yeah, so that could be possible. Yeah, something like that. All right. Anything else? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. There's a motion. Second. There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Does
Meeting
anybody know who the